Hello Gearslutz, this is Jan reporting from the Superbooth, and I'm here at the Joranalogue audio design booth. And here's Joran, and he has a new filter module and some other stuff. I'll give you the mic, Joran.
Right, thanks. Hi Gearslutz. This is Joranalogue audio design at Superbooth in Berlin. So let's take a look at new stuff we brought. So the big one that's new is Filter 8. And the basic premise of Filter 8 is to take the classic 4-pole low-pass topology and bring in the most features possible, the most versatility that's possible with the circuits. So the basic thing, you have the 4-pole outputs, 1, 2, 3 and 4-pole outputs, and also additional pole mixing outputs. So there's a 1-pole high pass, a band boost plus notch, a phaser, phase shifter outputs, and a 4-pole band pass. So you get 8 different simultaneous filter responses out of this thing. So let's take a quick listen to the 4-pole outputs with just a saw wave going in. All right, I already moved this. Oh, sorry, that was a 2-pole. So this is the 4-pole. So they're all going to have a different steepness, different character to them. Now, another special feature of Filter 8 is the resonance circuits. Like on normal low-pass filters, if you increase resonance, you would start to lose low ends. That's just a limitation of general filters. Filter 8 has a new kind of resonance topology. If you increase resonance on this one, you don't lose any low ends, so it stays all there. So let's demonstrate this quickly. I increase resonance. Now I have maximum resonance into self oscillation, and yet the low end of my input signal is still there. Alright, let's try the other outputs too. So let's listen to the high pass. And we add a bit more resonance. And like it really goes all the way. Right. The next one is a bit special. It's a band boost plus notch response. So you first have a band of frequencies being boosted, and that's followed by a notch. Let's listen to that. This filter response is great for like vowel type sounds, some wavefoldery type sounds, even with some input sources. The next one is a phaser or phase shifter. And let's add resonance. Alright. And the last one is a 4-pole band pass. So really nice selective band pass you can sweep the whole audio range with. Okay. So that's the basic use as a filter. Now it's also an 8-phase oscillator. So when you put it into self-oscillation, now you get an 8-phase sine wave oscillator. The outputs are all separated by 45 degrees. And you can see this on this middle filter here, which is set in low mode with the switch. This means it's working as an LFO. So it's a wide range LFO, 6 minutes to several hundred hertz into the audio range. You can have some really nice multi-phase modulation going on with these outputs. Or this one is working in audio range, and that's an 8 outputs sine VCO with good fault proactive tracking, temperature compensation, linear and exponential FM, so all the stuff you want. All right. Another addition to Filter 8 is a dedicated ping input. Now, to create filter ping sounds, you would need a short envelope or some trigger and put it through your filter at self-oscillation point, and then you can like strike the filter and create these crisp sounds. Filter 8 has a dedicated gate input for this to make it easier for you. So just take like normal gates from a sequencer, plug it into the ping inputs. You set the resonance right at self-oscillation point. Right, and I can turn it up a little bit maybe. Make some nice low frequencies too, so you can create some quick drums. All the outputs will have a slightly different timbre if you use the ping. So you can experiment, try different ones, try different outputs in stereo channels or process them differently and then mix them together. So a lot of possibilities because you have all the outputs available at the same time. Right, so we have some ping going. Now let's go all the way west coast and add some frequency modulation. Let's take a volt proactive melody sequence. Now we're playing a nice melody, and now to add some linear FM. So I take a sine from another oscillator into the linear FM. Turn up the VCO frequency. All right. So that's the ping modes. There are a few other things. There is a compensation feature, which I should also explain. Basically, if you have a filter which is self-oscillating with multiple outputs, all the outputs will self-oscillate at slightly different frequencies. So at different amplitudes, sorry. So you have, and you can actually see this on the LEDs. At audio frequencies, you can see that the LEDs start to dim a little bit, so you lose 3 dB on every output. That's just how filters work at the self-oscillation frequency, at the corner frequency of the filter. Now, if you enable the compensation feature, all the outputs will have adjusted gains. So I engage compensation. And now all the outputs are nice 10 volt peak equal amplitudes. So that's really nice for if you want to modulate things. Like this one is in LFO mode, I can engage the compensation. Now all the outputs are the same strength. Sometimes you want them all to be different. You disable the compensation and now you can choose between different strengths of sine waves. Right? And then a last feature is the hold circuits. Now what hold does is basically if I engage the switch, the filter is frozen or it's slowed down as much as possible. So if it's running as an LFO, it's slowed down as much as possible. You can halt your modulation and then just restart it and it continues where it left off. This hold feature also has a gate input. This means that it can be controlled by gates, but also at audio rates. So I have this right one, it's running as a VCO, you're hearing the sine wave. I take the Holt inputs and I plug in a PWM wave from another oscillator. And now I engage the Holt switch, and now you're getting sync-like sounds. This sync is it responds to the tuning of the filter, to the sync source, and to the pulse width of the sync source. So there's some crazy sync possibilities too. And of course everything can be used at the same time, so you can have some volt proctive modulation going on with a signal going into it being filtered while you're doing the whole thing. Different kinds of frequency modulation at the same time. It's all available at once for you to experiment with. And in low frequency mode it can also be a slew limiter. There's so many possibilities. That was kind of the goal with this module.
Very first filter. Price and availability?
So the price is set to be €295 and released in a few months, so July probably. Depends on like production schedule, but that's the goal.
€295 is including VAT?
Yeah, that would include the tax.
Okay, so it's about €260 sort of without.
Yeah, something like that. I can't do the math in my head, but
okay. Any other module that you have?
So I have two little new ones I haven't shown to Gearslutz yet, and that is Add2. This is a 2 HP precision adder. So you have 3 inputs going in. They are very accurately mixed together and then available at the output. And the same for the bottom section, 3 inputs added together to the outputs. This input socket is normalized to the top output, so you can have 5 going in, mixed into one. You have jumpers on the back. Each section can be set to average rather than add. So then it becomes a useful little utility mixer if you want to quickly mix different things together. In a small space, you can set one part to be an averager, another to be an adder, or whatever configuration you want. And right next to it we have Link2, which is a tiny precision buffered multiples. So buffered multiples designed to really retain your accuracy of pitch CV stuff. Yeah. So again, a nice useful addition to any system, a 2 HP little thing to have one signal going to multiple destinations.
Again, price and availability?
So these little ones would be 75. And they are planned to be released together with Filter 8. So again, a few months, like summer, then you should get these 3 at all the usual modular distributor places.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.